at the top of the hour. So welcome everybody, Wisdom's Chats. We great to have Alessio with us from Italy. He's joined us as part of through your partnerships, which is fantastic. And so he'll get a feel for who we are and what we do. And so our topic for today, based on, so we came out of yesterday talking about the power of decluttering. And so I love Leo's backgrounds, because we are now living on Mars, I'm assuming, Leo. We've now actually decluttered ourselves even from Earth's atmosphere. And and coming out of decluttering, what is it that we recognize as being what is essential in our lives? And I left it as broad as that, and you can take it where you want to. So Leo, we ended with you, I think, yesterday. So maybe we'll start with you today. So what is absolutely essential in your life?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, so I thought to myself, so what is important for me? And yeah, I think I'm in a fortunate place, where I can retire, and I'm not totally dependent on doing something to earn money, and while I don't have huge amounts, to flitter around the world for 3 months at a time. But I kept asking myself, so what's important? Is it to get richer, or that? Obviously family is important. But then I thought to myself, I'd love to live on Mars, but Elon Musk is one of my inspirations. One of the things about Mars is that it's a reason to get up in the morning. You are inspired by something bigger, and you now go for something bigger. And I think for me, then the word became significance. So in this phase of my life, I would like to make a contribution in the South African context that would leave a mark of significance, if that's at all possible. And so for me, that's important. I think if I can, I'd like to give myself to that, and that's become important. So so that's my little contribution for today.
Thanks, Leo. Thanks, Leo. That's great. Yeah, we hope you don't go to Mars, because the chances of you coming back are pretty remote.
You know what? I've lived a good life, and it doesn't matter. But you know what? We'll still be able to have our chats. It'll take a little longer. What's it, the time frame? 12 hours or 8 hours? Or
Trevor, what is most important for you? Or essential, and it doesn't have to be esoteric. It could just be, because I've got very practical things in my mind. So you decide where you're going to go with this.
I'm really tearing out all the pages of Ed's dictionary at the moment, and I've got a one-word dictionary that I'm aiming for, and that is around the word simplicity, simplify. Ed will probably say simple, and just below that is a ton of simple, or simpleton. So Ed, if you will just withhold any comment any further than that, but one word. Could be simplified. My wife, granddaughter, and I, we went out to a neighbor's last night with our masks on, because they are also simplifying. They've just sold their house. They're off to France. They've purchased a little, what we would call a pondoki there in Brittany. For next to nothing in the entire home. So I walked into their garage, and there were bread, these bakers bread boxes full of books. I was tempted to actually take a few, but my wife wouldn't allow me to take them in. I don't understand. And I just to touch base, a commonality with Alessio in the discussion. I mean, we were on their walls with pictures of their travels, working around the world. They're in the IT game. So the wife worked for Ross Perot's organization, EDS, and there were beautiful pictures of Jerusalem and Poland and Hemingway's place in the Keys, London, Rome. So they'd flitted around. And the discussion was, well, what do you do with all of this? And having sold their home, they've purchased a 40-foot container, and they're now just filling that 40-foot container to go and put into their little French home. It's about 100 square meters. And they're thinking of buying a little mill, just to give you an idea. Their lives simplifying. The commonality with Alessio is in the discussion, they said as cheap as their French home was, there's some homes in Italy that are being sold for €1. So I was looking for an Italian that could actually identify where these homes are for €1. And if you would actually do some research, bring them to us here, because we might want to make an investment into a home of €1. I did suggest that they probably owe about 300 years of tax on these homes. But I'm also aware that in Italy, there are entire villages where the migrants are actually being rechanneled because no one is wanting to live in these rural villages at the moment. I mean, this world is topsy-turvy, and there might be fantastic opportunities. So simplify, simplify, simplify. Can I get a roof over my head for €1 in Italy, and I'll wear blue? So Leo, that would make us absolutely rich beyond our wildest dreams. And maybe we can all buy Bitcoin at €1 times 100,000 with all the money we have left over, man.
I'll come and live with you in Italy, eh?
No, you won't.
We'll work from Italy.
Everybody's welcome.
So find us these homes at €1 in Italy. I might be interested in purchasing one or two. So simplicity, 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 simplify, simplify, simplify. No simpleton. That was on the other page. I tore it out, Ed.
So Edward, we're going to have to come to you now. So what is your response? Yeah. Obviously, what is essential in your life?
Before I give my response, looking at those domes in Leo's picture, we have those in Cornwall. There's two of those big ones connected with the smaller one. It's called the Eden Project. Absolutely fantastic place to visit. It's quite simple because you said we had the basics. So we had food and we had water and we had that. So all I need is coffee. And even when I was doing my camping and you know, living on Dartmoor, wandering around Scotland, I had my coffee. I buy it from a small business in Cornwall, in a place called Bude, and she would send it to a post office in Scotland. And then when I wandered past the village, I'd pop in the post office and get my fresh supply of coffee. And yeah, it's ground coffee, it's real coffee. I don't have this instant stuff, and that chicory stuff you have in South Africa, that is an abomination. And you just put a spoonful in a cup, boil some water up, stir it round, let the grounds drop to the bottom, and then drink the coffee. And that cup of coffee first thing in the morning when you wake up and you're sitting there beside a stream, you're looking at the mountains, you're looking at the trees. It is just the most delightful thing in the world. And I couldn't do without coffee. And actually, when I'm in the wilds and when I'm in nature, there is nothing else I need. I just don't need anything else. When I'm back home, there are a couple of other things I need. One is my cafetiere, because I can't be bothered to wait for the grounds to settle. And the other, it is mental stimulation. And that's why I like coming here, because I get that here. You know, I have to try and figure out what on earth Trevor's rambling on about. So mental stimulation. And the other thing, yeah, I see Trevor has the same problem. The other thing is hope. And I don't mean hope in the sense of that sort of passive hope as, oh, I hope it's going to be sunny tomorrow. I mean hope in the sort of, and I looked in my dictionary as Trevor would expect me to, and an expectation and desire combined. And for me, hope is about that my actions will bear fruit and that I can change things and I can make things happen. And without hope, I don't think there's any point really, because you're just at the mercy of the elements, which is kind of what I'm like when I'm in the wilds. When I'm in the wilds, I don't need hope. I just need to survive. You know, I just need to get on with it and not be blown away by the wind and a couple of times in the wilds I was blown off my feet, physically blown off my feet. The wind was that strong. Yeah, and a couple of times I got so cold that hypothermia was a possibility. So, you know, in the wilds, it's more about surviving and whatever. But in civilization, it's about hope, and that we can perhaps travel to Mars, or we can perhaps go to the bottom of the ocean, or we can see the universe, or whatever it is. So yeah, hope is the one thing I really need, and mental stimulation, whatever that is.
Thanks, Edward. I love a conversation that goes from the most essential things in life is coffee and hope. I think it pretty much covers the entire spectrum. Alicia, I'm thinking you've got the hang of what we're doing here, is sharing our ideas and thoughts. And so I'd love to hear what you would say about what's the most essential things in your life.
Yeah, thank you very much. About me, I want to say cooperation. As Trevor said before, he's looking for some houses in Italy. So, for me, it's important to help each other as well, and also have the same back. So, this is the meaning of cooperation for me. Help each other, giving back the same things. And also I say the same always when I have networking events, because when you're working with business, you need to work with different people. There's not essentially to have you with the business, but maybe if I say to you what I'm doing as a business, you can help me to find other people, and I can do the same. I can do the same with you. So this is for me about cooperation. There's no anything to say, so for me it's okay.
Well said. Thanks, Alicia. Just that it's about the cooperation. It's about giving. It's about working together for.
Yeah, give and receive.
Yes, fantastic. That's brilliant. Thank you. And Jasper, what's in your mind around life's essentials?
It can be a long topic or a short topic, so I'm not sure where it's going with me. But I think relationships are essential. And then in terms of relationships, I've got a hierarchy there for myself, that my relationship with my creator, that sense of purpose and being is important. And then secondly, I'm blessed to have a wife, and we have a good marriage, and then kids. And then a job comes in there as well, but I want to move the job over to the place of significance that Liu touched on, to have something that I feel I'm making a positive difference and a contribution. So a job and a career, and then resources. And Edward has touched on it, but so on the resources, where I actually very much in agreement with him on the coffee side. I also like that. But then I was thinking of where I am in my life right now, and funnily enough, the critical resources for me right now is a cell phone, a laptop, and data. And then assuming that I've got the basics in place like food and shelter and clothes. But as long as I have my cell phone, laptop, and data, I'm pretty much connected and I can get things done from anywhere in the world. Yeah, so I think that's my current needs, or what do you call it, what is important to me right now.
Yeah, so I love, thanks, Jasper. Really, I think, as you say, you pare it down. And so there were two thoughts that came to my mind in sort of thinking about, well, how do I answer this question? And the one is you, Jasper. One of the things that you made us do, so my family and I went to a series of lectures that Jasper did. And one of the exercises that he made us do is, so what would be the least amount of money that you could live on? And then what would be less than that, and what would be less than that? And so and we had to actually write it down and actually figure out, could we go and live with somebody? Could we, what would be, if we actually got it down to the bare minimum, what would we be able to live on? And the point of the exercise is, what if you lost it all? Would you survive? And the answer was yes. Just by doing the exercise, just by putting yourself in that place, you could see that you could make a plan. And so the world wasn't going to fall apart if you lost everything. And you could start again, and there would be this place. And it was interesting for me, but it was life-changing for my daughter, who was going through a very difficult time in property development, absolutely hated what she was doing, was not doing well. And she could see that there was a place that she would not hit rock bottom, that the bottom, there was a place that was a landing place that she could take off from. So I had that in my mind as, what would be if I lost everything, what would I need? And then the other thing I had in mind was the story of two guy friends who decided to go the minimalist route. They wanted to declutter. So picking up from our conversation yesterday, and the one guy, what he did is he would take a room in the house, in his house, and if he didn't use anything in that room for a month, it got chucked out. And it took him 10 months to go basically room to room, cupboard by cupboard, drawer by drawer. If he hadn't used whatever was in that space for a month, out it went. The other guy said, no, he doesn't have 10 months to go that route. What he did is he packed his entire house into boxes, all piled up. And when he needed something, he had to find the box. And then that's what stayed. So he did it the other way around. And so I pictured myself packing up my entire house And what would I take out? What would be the things that I would take out first? And I realized, along with Jasper and Edward, there's some commonalities here. So I would definitely need something to put my coffee in, some coffee. I don't even need milk, but just the coffee and the mug, and I'm good to go. So that sort of oils the wheels for the day. And again, like Jasper, I need my laptop. I thought about my phone, and did I really need my phone? I use my phone a lot, but I could do everything through my laptop if I needed to, but my phone and my laptop and data. So, and in South Africa, what that means is I would need my UPS, my uninterrupted power supply, because without that, Eskom would have their way and I would lose my data and my electricity and everything. So UPS goes onto the list. And then I do need my books. I can't live without my books, but I have learned to read from a Kindle. And so if I lost all my books, that would be fine. I don't need them, because I can, as Trevor said, the books that I've already read, it's all in here already, or what wasn't really important in the first place. And whatever books I need, I've got my Kindle, and I can take that with me anywhere, so long as I've got electricity. Well, yeah, electricity of some kind to charge my Kindle. I would need my glasses. I have reached the age where I now need glasses, and I need glasses for reading, and I need glasses to see in the distance. And then what Jasper was saying about relationships, those are the things that make life worth living for me, is the relationships with my husband, with my daughters, and precious friends. Yeah, I'm getting to you. Sorry, Trevor, you're quite low down on the hierarchy, but I haven't forgotten you. And actually, I could not do my work, my business, without my business partners. So Trevor, you're there. I need people like Alicia. I need people who are going to believe in me, that we can work together and we can make something happen, and keep reinventing, keep growing, keep changing, keep developing, and keep delivering. Yeah, so I think, as Jasper said, I think that's you can make it long, you can make it short. It's interesting to me what wasn't, when I thought about what, I used to think, and I've mentioned this before, that travel was so essential for my life. It was absolutely written into the DNA of my being, that I just planned one trip after the next. And in many ways, lockdown has, I don't want to say cured me, but it's certainly made me reevaluate that as something I need to do, because I've become, as I've said before, quite reclusive. So my home is it's actually a huge comfort zone for me. I'm beginning to wonder whether even going to a coffee shop is important, which was also something that was very vital in me. I wrote my whole first book from a coffee shop, because that was the only place that was created for me. So yeah, so we change, and we change. So off we go. I'm ending there. And I'm going to open it to the group to decide what is it that you want to talk about tomorrow. Where do we go to from here? Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, as this discussion is taking place, I'm starting to think about how, and Maslow's hierarchy was all discussed here, and I'm absolutely disgusted that I'm not on anyone's hierarchy near the top. But just talking about this, there's always this discussion about people of privilege versus those that don't have. And it's quite interesting in this little discussion that it's implied that maybe material things for some reason now are not important. Maybe it's about some of us are getting older and we're not interested in that. I mean, the excitement for me is Ed's tent in Dartmoor. You know, I'm seriously thinking about that. I've got the tent. All I have to do is get over there to Dartmoor. It sounds simple. And there's a €1 blooming home in Italy. There are these things. But you have a look around here, people who you believe don't have, that are living in environments where they are close. Let's call them here in South Africa townships. People came out of rural communities, and you see the clamor for material things and wanting big things. Isn't it interesting what you haven't got, you actually want? Trying to get rid of these material things, and people are trying to gather material things to show how important they are on the planet. And I think somehow we've actually got to bridge the fact that if you can just have simple data, a laptop, those sort of things, you can completely change your life. So maybe we should got to push Leo down the direction. I want to know what it is his one thing of significance that he wants to do, and you know, has he identified the direction? Because I know Ed wants to change the climate of the world. Jasper just wants to change everyone's financial position. Me, I just want to stay in my little cocoon, just like Lee. I'm reclusive, but how can we actually contribute to getting other people to recognize that you've got almost everything at your fingertips? Almost everyone that we look at in Africa is walking around with one of these, for goodness sake. Is this the secret to growing and being the type of person you want to be? And why are we so unhappy, all of us? So I don't know if that helps.
Is there a topic there, Trevor? I'm not quite sure what
Why? Yeah.
Let's hear from Edward, and then we'll come back to you.
I was going to say, I thought I knew what the topic was until Trevor kept talking, because he did say, let's look at the difference between the haves and the have-nots, really. Yeah, the privileged and the not so privileged. And then it went into this sort of wormhole, if we're going to use a space tech thing, and it completely lost me.
So Ed, that's why we need you to bring us back on track. That's basically where it is. I'm just mystified why people tend to be so unhappy, and it's probably because they're chasing after all these material things. But I think you've put your finger on it. What did you say? The difference between the haves and have-nots, and
the privileged and the not so privileged.
The privileged. And is it easier to talk from a privileged perspective, or if you had not, do you not see the sort of things that perhaps we see? How close you are to actually being privileged with simple things in life? I suppose that's, yeah.
Great. Okay, I think that's our topic.
I'm celebrating my privilege, I think.
The difference between the haves and the have-nots, the privileged and the not privileged. So great topic. Thank you, Alicia. We hope to see you again tomorrow if you're up to getting up again at 7. And
yeah, tomorrow I will be with you, because after our meeting I'm going to work, so I have to get up early, and I've already booked for tomorrow.
Fantastic, fantastic. Good to have you, and have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Trevor, do you have a moment
Bye.
for me, please?